Oh, don't hit this camera, baby, because this gonna take a whole lot of subscriptions and ambassador programs to be able to afford to run it back. How y'all doing, my people? How y'all feeling? It is another episode. This is episode 2 of Spilling the Ink with your girl, V. Marie. This one may get a bit uncomfortable. Let's spill some ink.
Hearts alive, angels sing, voices rise, the prophets ring, in the shadow, truth unfolds.
How many of you have ever settled for less, thinking that you were leveling up? How many of you have compromised your integrity for the sake of feeling needed, only to be burned out in business? How many of you ever left yourself behind because you were too busy pouring out to other people? I know I'm not talking to myself today. So today is one of those snatch you by your edges, hold on to your lace fronts type of conversation. I want to talk to my audience today about being in business but lacking self-confidence. Being in business but pouring out to other people more than you pour into yourself and your business. I know that through my journey of entrepreneurship, and a lot of other entrepreneurs can agree when it comes to the loneliness of leadership. How many of you have ever been in a situation where you're working, you're grinding, you're building, you have this vision, you're trying to put all the parts together, wear all the hats because you don't really trust anyone else to do the job just as good as you think you can? Or sometimes we are just so prone and conditioned to not asking for help, to when it's time to take off the metal, take off the armor, take off the hats, we're so uncomfortable and it's so unfamiliar, we would rather wear ourselves thin instead of ask for help. I used to be that person. When I first started out in business back in 2007, after graduating college, I was like, okay, hit the ground running. Let's start the business. Let's build, let's develop the clients. I was eager then. I was early 20s. And then once I got into 28, 29, became a mother, became a wife, all the things started happening. Life's evolving and I'm pivoting. Every time I change, it seems like the business had to change. Every time my scope on what it took to be successful, or a new coaching program, or a new book I'm reading, it all had something to implement and then gave me a result to where I led up to a new shift in business. And when you're doing all of these things, sometimes life gets lonely. Sometimes the people that are most familiar with you become very unfamiliar. Sometimes it feels like you're sleeping with a stranger. Sometimes it feels like your best friend becomes your enemy. Has that ever been you? The way that I was able to propel through the lonely moments and the times where I wasn't so sure about myself and the scared moments, I usually went to two things. And one led me to what I needed. The other one led me to being destitute, down and out, chaos, confusion, depression, anxiety, losing weight, losing sleep. All the things opposite of what God has called me to be and what God called me to do. So I want to share these two things with you so that you don't have to take the same route I did. 42% of small businesses fail because they can't clearly communicate their value. For Black women entrepreneurs, having a clear and compelling brand message isn't just important, it's essential. My name is Vernica Pitcher, CEO of Panther Inc., where we help Black women stand boldly in their stories through purpose-driven brand development. We connect the purpose behind your pain to strategies that amplify your voice and attract your ideal client. Studies show that consistent brand messaging can increase revenue by 23%, yet many businesses struggle to achieve it because they lack clarity and confidence. That's where Panther Inc. stands out. We have successfully developed over 100 brands thriving in their industry nationwide. We go beyond traditional branding by combining self-awareness with biblical strategy, empowering you to build a brand that aligns with your values. Let's transform your story into a profitable, impactful brand that honors your vision and your message. So, when it comes to the two things that I chose, the first thing is, of course, I seek out God. And usually God and his word and his promises and meditating on him and all the things that he's ever done for me personally throughout my journey, when I was unsure, in those dark places, in those painful places, when I was misunderstood, when I was left out to the wolves, it seems like, at some points in my life, God kept me, covered me, secured me, provided for me. I've always been safe, rocking with God. But why is it that sometimes we tend to turn a blind eye to all the things we already know he is for us and he's done for us? Sometimes when God doesn't feel like the hype, sometimes the world's noise calls your name, from what it seems like at least, louder than him, knowing that he had already renamed you in the first place. But we're still answering to the old self. We're still drawn by the old things. And that was the option two that sometimes I took. When I chose to lack discipline, when I chose to lack structure, when I wanted the quick fix, the numbing for a temporary thing. Because see, every time I didn't choose God, it tended to only build a facade that numb pain temporarily. God seems to be the only thing that is consistent and committed to me for the long haul. But things get rocky and shady in entrepreneurship. Contracts don't go through. Companies fall short. Economy goes belly up and affects your business. People trying to tarnish your brand. And we don't even want to talk about racism and sexism. We don't want to talk about how ugly it gets when a partner that you could have called your sister or your brother turns their back on you. Or somebody that act like they wanted to lean an ear or invest in your business only was listening to not only see when you were going to fail, but see how they can implement your dream before you do. If you can't say amen, say ouch. It's a very cold world in entrepreneurship. So I don't want anyone to fall for the hype. What I do want you to do, however, is press into option one so that you can avoid some of the stumbling blocks that I had to face. You can avoid some of the seasons of stagnation and the drought. But the more I started leaning into God, the more I understood he sends a drought when he tries to draw his children, his people, his called, his chosen ones nearer to him. See, we take it for granted that God is a jealous God. But yet we want to lean in on him and depend on him when times get rough. When times get lonely, right? Just like me. That was me too. But now he's the thing I reverence as soon as I open my eyes in the morning. He is the person I talk to when I'm on my way to dropping my son off to school. He is the one that I sleep with in the bed at night. The hymns that I keep in my mind. The scriptures that guard my heart as well as my son's. I keep him in my business plan now because he told me before, when I hit a drought season, that he would take everything from me just to prove his love for me. To prove that he is seeking after me. But I was the one that closed the door on him. I was the one that left him out of the blueprint. Why? We get so wrapped up in the bells and whistles of life, we forget that God is all things. He provides all things. He covers all things. He produces all things. And he multiplies all things. God isn't a God of division. He's a God of multiplication, by the way. So the next time you're trying to figure out what to commit to, what to trust, what to stay consistent with when it comes to those lonely places, the times when you are misunderstood, the times when you were left out on the team meeting, the times when you were left up at night by yourself while your family lies sleeping. You may be sitting at the computer, sitting over the contract, sitting over the books, sitting over the paperwork with coffee in one hand and a puddle of tears in your lap. I want you to know that you can make it through. It's okay. I've been there too. Sometimes I had to push through invoices and check emails and even follow up through communication, whether it be a Zoom call, whether it be business marketing, with tears rolling down my face. I've had to teach class as a coach and have breakdowns that led to breakthroughs. So I also want to challenge you to stay authentic to who you are. Don't try to cover anything when it comes to running your course, because everything about your pain leads to a profitable, powerful, promising story for someone else. And everything about your raw, authentic self is going to not only draw the clients that are intended for you, but it is also going to fulfill the mission of the pain in the first place, which is to help you get clarity on your promise and your purpose to fulfill your mission and your ministry while you're here on this earth. So, thank you for spending time with me again. This was another episode of Spilling the Ink with your girl V Marie. I look forward to seeing you back. And shout out to my people that tuned in to episode 1. Thank you so much for your feedback on our relaunch of Spilling the Ink podcast. And I also appreciate each and every person that's been rocking with my brand for so long, that just kept pushing me forward with encouragement and prayers. Thank you so much. I want you to continue the forward motion on us staying in touch, but I would love to hear how you feel about this episode when it comes to the two options that I chose, that I would love for you to understand. Option 1 always supersedes option 2. Light always supersedes the dark. When we click on a light switch, darkness has to flee. So don't waste time on lane number 2, the dark road, unfamiliar territory. Go with option 1. Let the light lead you. So let me know in the comments what you liked about today's episode, and let me know what topics you would like me to cover about personal and brand development. And also let me know as far as feedback as to what else you would like to see besides topics. Would you like me to pull somebody up for the hot seat? Would you like to see interviews? And would you like me to answer your questions live? These are just a few options. So I look forward to hearing back from you. And until next time, it's your girl V Marie coming to you once again with Spilling the Ink. I'm out. Peace.